Hello guys, Chaoslance and his big nose hail you and welcome you to this channel. Today we have a tinfoil there, as you can guess by the poster of the loading screen behind me. And because I'm going to take a look on the speculation Evergreen, the whispers of Elginal. I know what you are thinking right now, like, oh but Chaos, we have heard enough of this, like fuck you, what can you get in a stupid, the void cannot be trusted. Well, fuck you, just sit down and listen to me. I will do the best voices I can, and I will give you some insight on the Elginot and his whispers and his possible wisdom and warnings, because I feel that I have discovered something new. So, before we can jump into that, we must make one thing clear. What actually Elginot is. The in-game description of Elginot says the following. Lodged in the hollows of now decrypted World Tree, Elginot is a manifestation of the horrors that lie at the heart of the nightmare. It is a mass of corruption, a thing that should not be. Its tendrils seep through the ground, emerging in countless horrifying eye stalks and limbs. Now, with all that RPG sauce around this basically means that Elginot is the incarnation of corruption, of the Emerald Nightmare. So, let's take a look at what actually is the Emerald Nightmare, of course. The Emerald Nightmare originates back 4,500 years before the First War opening of the Dark Portal, in other words. Vanro Stayhelm was running around the world and planting happily the trees, which he made from branches of Odrasel, and one of them, he got the best idea he basically could get. He planted one in Grizzly Hills. It grew huge, like until Teldrassil, it was the biggest world tree. It overshadowed even Nordrassil. But it had one problem. It was planted on Yogg-Saron's prison. So, the big tree needs big roots. The roots touched Yogg-Saron prisons, and as Yggdrasil was connected to the Emerald Dream, Yogg-Saron got a way to the dream through that tree, through the roots of the tree. You can imagine how it actually ended up. Yogg-Saron tried to corrupt the dream. He created the seeds of the nightmare. It eventually led into madness of furbolgs and other beings around, and of course the druids of the Cenarian Circle found it out. They started to investigate, and they found out that the source of this corruption was their precious World Tree Yggdrasil. So the best thing they could do was to chop it down and destroy it, which led into relative calmness of the local furbolgs. It still was not in the original state. Later on the story, Yogg-Saron let N'Zoth take over the seeds of the corruption in the dream, and he basically made them extension of his will. So, the Emerald Nightmare is extension of N'Zoth's will. Elginot is the nightmare incarnate. So, Elginot is extension of N'Zoth's will. Logic. My logical argument is also backed up by Zalatat, who has a whisper when you are around Elginot, and she calls him a tiny growth of the behemoth that may yet consume your world. May yet consume your world, which means that he might do that in the future, and the only old god we know about we have not dealt with and is not considered dead is N'Zoth. So, yes, Elginot is extension of N'Zoth's will. Now, onto the whispers. So, his lines, when you enter the area where he is, the dream version of Ungorov, he probably refers to Malfurion Stormrage with a presence, something new yet familiar, yes. That might be referring to Malfurion, because Malfurion was locked in the nightmare for a pretty long time. And also I think that Malfurion is actually corrupted by the nightmares and it's hidden. But that's for another video. But the first line might refer to Malfurion. Then the another one. Your coming was foretold in the rings. The long circle is nearly complete. We can assume that when he lives in the now non-existing World Tree, he talks about these rings. It makes sense. So these rings somehow foretold our coming. Or was it coming of the one? I again think that the your coming refers to Malfurion's coming. That he calls out the being that he sends familiar. That he calls Malfurion that his return was foretold in the rings and that the circle nears completion and that he will be a problem later on. But don't get ahead of ourselves. And then of course, come little ones, savor your fear as we feast upon it. That's usual all got many online, which means that the more we fear, the more he eats, the stronger he gets, the more we are fucked. That's simple. Flesh is his gift, he is your true creator. I think that this one refers to Yoxaron, because it was Yoxaron who created the anomaly in the forge in Ulduar, which created the fleshy, unstable creatures and eventually gave us free will. It was basically Yoxaron who created us as we are in the game. Yeah, that makes sense. And I don't think it's much more complicated. To find him, drown yourselves in the circle of stars. That one is problematic. To find him, Nazot, probably, because he's the only one we don't know where is. But what is the circle of stars? And how are we supposed to drown in that? In Stormsong Valley, there are those Tide Sages, those Katir, or how they call themselves, and when they transformed into those Davy Jones-like fuckers, they're like, I see the circle! Or I drown in the circle! I see it now! They see the circle. They found Nazot. They transform into those ugly bastards that you kill later on after that. So, who knows, many people think that the circle of the stars is actually Maelstrom, but I don't think it's the case. Because if Maelstrom was the circle of stars, to find Nazot in Maelstrom, which used to be Well of Eternity, which used to be Yeshara, nope, not happening in my opinion. So the circle of stars might be something we don't know about yet. It's something completely new, something that maybe will be revealed in battle for Azeroth. The King of Diamonds has been made a pawn. That one is simple. King of Diamonds can refer to no one else than Magni Bronzebeard. Are we sure? Like, Magni as the King of Diamonds is way too obvious. Then of course he has been made a pawn of Azeroth, or of the old gods who pretend to be Azeroth. Like, it depends, but still, like, it's, in my opinion, it's way too obvious. So, tinfoil hats on, ladies and gentlemen. The King of Diamonds, I think, refers to Galivix, because he is presumably the most rich being on Azeroth. He has everything you can imagine. Most importantly, he has also Azerite. And that he has been made a pawn, we know that goblins have some history with the old gods, like they were for that thinking before. And also, Galivix would sell his own mother for money. If they gave him some vision of property, maybe like he could rule over Azeroth, he would do anything. He don't even need to be corrupted, he will sort us willingly. So, the King of Diamonds who has been made a pawn, in my opinion, is Galivix. And he is a pawn of the old gods by the vision of money! 5 keys to open our way, 5 torches to light our paths. This one spreads the community pretty well. Why? Because, well, there are many 5-ish type of things in World of Warcraft. Like, you have the 5 old gods, presumably. Don't let's start the discussion directly who's an old god. Okay. Then we have, of course, like 5 paladins of the Silver Hand, as Shinies and Lucky just pointed out. We have presumably 5 Prime Naru. We have 5 World Trees. We have 5 Dragon Aspects. We have 5 Pillars of Creation. There is many 5-ish. But the mainstreams are the Dragon Aspects, World Trees, and Pillars of Creation. But there is the problem that I cannot find any metaphorical link between the pillars, between any pillar of creation and torch. Like, if you can find one, let me know. That means that the torches, like, if we go by simple metaphor, torches refer to the world trees. Because, fuck! Like, what bigger torch you need than the burning Teldrassil? Or burning Nodrassil? Or burning Anadrassil? Or the destroyed world tree in the Ungoro crater? Or burning Shaladrassil in Valshara? 5 keys to open our way. 5 torches to light our path. Now the keys are tricky. I think that the keys, to some extent, are dragon aspects, because really, when you think about it, what the old gods historically have focused mostly on the trees, one way or another, either if it was Ragnaros or the Nightmare, or another time it was Nightmare, or some unknown happening, it was the world trees, and they focused on the dragon aspects. Like, when you think about it, Deathwing, pure work of the old gods. Malygos basically as well, because he was driven to insanity by Deathwing. Ysera, the saddest death in the entire religion. If she felt the corruption of the Nightmare, she is now gone. We know that Nosdormu will fall to corruption somewhere in the future, maybe sooner future than we think. Which leads to Alexstrasza, and she seems to be quite okay, but who knows? When we saw Ysera in Valshara, no one thought that she would die. I am just waiting for the Red Dragonfly officially pop up in BFA, then we know Alexstrasza will die. So, I think that the 5 keys are the dragon aspects, and 5 torches are the world trees, and they are somehow connected. The Lord of Ravens will turn the key. This one was the best argument of those who were for the Pillars of Creation are the keys. Because how could Lord of Ravens, presumably Khadgar, turn the key if the key were the dragon aspects? Yeah, it was a good question. Until today. Because the Lord of Ravens, in this case, is Odin, the Titan Keeper Odin. And the key he will turn with is Alexstrasza. Why? Because, think about it. Odin was against the idea of dragon aspects from the plain start. He said that it was a bad idea, that they were weak and imperfect and all that kind of stuff. And the worst thing is that he was right. Deathwing fell to corruption, Malygos fell to madness, Ysera was corrupted, Nosdormu well fell to madness, and who knows what will happen with Alexstrasza. Titan Keeper Odin being Lord of Ravens makes far more sense than you might actually now realize. Because for this we must take a look on Odin's origin, on his inspiration as a character. And that comes from the Norse god Odin, who was like a Lord of Ravens. Raven was one of his attributes. When we have seen Titan Keeper Odin for the first time, he contacted us through the Raven in the Warrior campaign. Then, like, he was using ravens as messengers, and he definitely has some overlordship over the ravens. So I guess that he is the Lord of Ravens. Lord of the Ravens is Odin, and he will kill Alexstrasza, with which he will turn the key because the 5 trees will be burned down and everything will go to shit. The boy king serves at the master's table. 3 lies will he offer you. And that is the whisper that, that is why I actually wanted to make this video in the first place. Because today, another YouTuber, Breezy, link to his video and his channel is down in the description if you are interested, made a video about how Anduin could be controlled by the Divine Bell or influenced in the bad way. And he pointed out an interesting thing. Divine Bell was partially made from Raden's body or flesh, but considering that he is like a big metal guy, let's say body, which means that when the Divine Bell exploded and basically killed Anduin, or almost killed Anduin, he was killed by Raden's flesh. And what does Raden mean? It means Master Ra. Anduin is influenced by the injury that Divine Bell made to him, and Divine Bell was made from Raden's flesh. Really, that's before the Storm novel. It's so obvious, ladies and gentlemen. Anduin puts faith in 2 things when he makes a decision. What the light tells him and what the Divine Bell tells him. And in the Divine Bell he trusts more. Basically, he serves at the table of Master Ra because Ra can somehow tell him what to do. If it's right or wrong, he can influence his decisions. Boy King serves at the Master's table. It's Anduin serving Raden. And then those 3 lies, considering the first one has been told and the another one will be told soon, and we have not heard from Raden since Mist of Pandaria, I think that Boy King lies. Anduin Wren somehow lies, and I don't think he lies intentionally. He does what he believes is right, and he believes that is right because of the Divine Bell injuries, because of that 6th sense, because of that influence of Raden. Her heart is greater, and we have felt it. This one is problematic. It really is, because we have quite a lot of characters, female characters, whose heart is a crater and could be filled. We have Jaina Proudmoore, whose heart used to be Paramore and is now a literal crater. We have Sylvanas Windrunner, whose heart was crater when Arthas started to murder her people and then killed her, and then after she killed him, the void in her heart became even wider because now she lost what kept her going forward to kill Arthas, the desire, burning desire that kept her going to Northrend and kill him. Eventually get herself almost killed and escape just because of the randomness, but yes. Then of course we have Verissa Windrunner, whose heart used to be Ronin, and he is now dead, and he died in Sparrow again, literally crater. We have Alleria Windrunner, whose heart is a crater for quite some time, and she is filled with the void, literally. She is the fucking void elf. She is the first void elf. And then of course, Azeroth. My guess that her heart is a crater and we have filled it falls to Alleria Windrunner. Why is her heart a crater? We may think she has Arator, she has Turalien, she has her sweet void powers. The reason why she came to Turalien in the first place back in the days was because she needed to fuck with someone to forget about her brother. Let's say it like this. That's how it was. That's how it happened. Read the Tides of Darkness if you don't believe me. It's there. Alleria was broken and she gained the Turalian for some insurance. She got it and she fell in love, something like that. But even her desire to go for the void instead of staying with Turalian and pray to that fucking wind chime Zira, that speaks about how deeply she loves him. When you think about it, like the relationship between Sylvanas and Nathanos, Verisa and Ronin, the other Ventana sisters have far more love in her heart, in their hearts. You can say that Sylvanas is a cold bitch, but her love for Nathanos surpassed the death. That speaks for something. Yeah? So, Alleria has void in her heart. Metaphorically and literally. She is the one whose heart is a crater and was filled by the old gods. At the hour of her first death, she ushers in our coming. Many people say, Sylvanas, she has died twice. Oh fuck you, learn your lore, man. She died 3 times already. So, like, when she was defeating Silver Moon, when she killed herself after Arthas' death, and then she died in Silverpine Forest. Some people say, but it doesn't count as death. If it doesn't count as death, when she died and a few Valkyries had to sacrifice themselves to bring her back, then Gehun is an old god. It's that simple. Let's make a deal, okay? I will not count it as a death, and you nerds who are going like, Gehun is not an old god, will accept that Gehun is an old god. And I will accept that Sylvanas has died only twice, okay? So, but because you will not, Sylvanas died 3 times. That rules her out. Then we have Azeroth. Of course. Thundering, shattering. But Zalata strikes again. This land has seen so much conflict. Shattering, thundering, scouring. Tyrander referred to shattering and thundering as deaths of the world. Presumably, Zalatat means the same, and she added scouring. 3 deaths for Azeroth as well. Not gonna happen. Which leaves us with, in my opinion, the last candidate, and once again it's Alleria Winter. Back in Stormwind, she said one thing to Thrallin. I already feel as if I have died twice. When we have left the Outland, or something like that, and then when I have accepted Void Naru's power. 2 deaths. Boys in blue. 2 deaths for Alleria Winter. I cannot imagine any further death until now. And like in the future I can imagine multiple scenarios. Because we know that the only thing that keeps her from losing her shit is Arator. And when Arator dies, she loses her shit. We have the visions of the 1000 Years of War, of course, where she lost her shit when Arator died. Actually, Arator haunted her and she killed him, and then she completely lost her shit and went in Zod and killed him and absorbed his power. I think that this was the prediction of what is gonna happen. But the death of Alleria might be metaphorical, which means Arator dies, part of her dies, she loses her shit, or literal. She dies, her death releases a void eruption, which will break Zod and the other old gods completely free. So the hour of her first death, Alleria Winterreader. From the earth he draws strength. Our earth, our strength. This one may point to many things. Magni, maybe, because he draws strength from the earth. We could see it on Argus, we could see it in Magni comic. in both Magnetic comics. He's a dwarf, and dwarves are tied to the earth, and he's very powerful dwarf when you think about it. He might be influenced by the old gods, and I really think that if he is, then it's in this whisper. Or it may refer to Vratil, because he's the black dragon. Black dragons are connected with the earth. They draw strength from the earth. Their strength. Maybe. In the same way it could refer to Ebonhorn, but we have seen Ebonhorn resisting the corruption and not giving two fucks about it once he got back to Hamilton, of course. Or the last pick, Green Jesus, Thrall himself. He is technically the Earthborder, the aspect of the earth, and he draws strength from the earth. He lost his power, but at BlizzCon we have been introduced the idea, the teaser, that he will have a part in BFA, and part of that part will be his refinding of himself, where he will gather his shit back together and become the world shaman, the thing why he is called the Green Jesus once again. I don't dare to guess which of these belongs there. I really don't. I will leave it up to you guys. Comment section, down there. Yeah. Damn, my hand is transparent. Whoops. Let's pretend we didn't see that. And now the last one. Its surface blazes bright, masking the shadows below. We could say that he meant Naru, because they cycle between the light and shadow apparently often, and we could see that Zira, for example, is a rapist bitch. He wanted to rape Illidan, like it or not, that's what happened. Or, and that's my guess, he meant Sunwell. In the Nightborn recruitment scenario, you could see Sunwell switch into shadow when Alleria touched it. And it released, or it opened a void portal for that Ethereal who came in with the words that he claims the Sunwell for himself. Its surface blazes bright, masking the shadow below. So guys, if you have liked this video, give it a like. If you have disliked this video, give it a dislike in the comment section down below. Tell me what you did not like. Then of course, if you have liked this so much that you would like to be notified whenever I put out another new video, then of course feel free to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell just next to it. And of course share the video whenever you can, because then by that you spread the word that I exist and I'm doing this stuff, and trying to be basically like funny and entertaining and tinfoil and all other kind of shit. What's that I meant to say? I kinda overshot the start. Subscribe, like, dislike, comment. Yeah. Well, yeah, sharing as well. So I guess that's all I want to say to you today. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you sometime in the future, guys. Bye bye.